I looked, but only saw shadows stretching along the wall. The light flickered, and for just a blink, one shadow didn't move with the rest. Welcome everyone to a deep dive on Serebelle. Today I was looking into one of the reports from the book I found. It seems the logger discovered a ghost. Now whether he believes in ghosts or not is a different story, but I feel like this report is a good jumping off point to bring them up. Ghosts are a different type of spirit on my homeworld, and they are believed by many to be the dead, and I for one believe they are real, and I'm going to tell you why. The ghost from the log isn't the first time I've heard of one seeing a ghost of a loved one after a death that was not expected. Biggest news of one actually was the inventor of the light rune that powers most lighting in your average home. He passed away before he completed the work on it, and apparently his drive to succeed on the project led to overworking and he passed away. He was driven so much so that he turned into a ghost and was there till his apprentice finished the work under his aid. If it wasn't for that determination, we may have not had lights in everyday homes when I was growing up. Even with that famous story, not everyone believes ghosts are real or that spirits are even our late loved ones. There is a vast amount of beliefs in my world that I would love to expand on in the future videos, but let's focus more on the ones surrounding this belief that spirits are the dead. Geistor. Geistor is prevalent in the country of Gawalt, the home of innovation in the future and where the story I mentioned took place. The three things that constitute if you're a follower of Geistor or not is if you follow the three convictions. 1. Spirits are the dead. 2. We should stay away from spirits and let them be. Do not haunt them with the memories of the living. And 3. Ghosts are people who refuse to go to purgatory to become spirits. We should help them to be free of what keeps them. The reason for staying away from spirits is because we do not want to haunt them with memories of when they were alive. There has been many instances throughout history to our present of spirits being corrupted. These are spirits that have remembered things about themselves from when they were alive like you and I. They change into the darkest parts of what they truly are, representing their biggest vice or regret. This could be greed, leaving words unsaid, the way they hurt somebody, etc. In folklore, there was a tyrant king that passed and turned into a spirit that guarded the lands he once ruled. And eventually, a conqueror came to take the lands from its people. The conqueror stood before the guarding spirit, believing he was above all spirits. The cruelty from the conqueror reminded the spirit of his life as a tyrant, those memories taking over corrupting him. The corrupted spirit consumed the land in a burst of fire, leaving the land into an ashen ruin, and still covered in the ash of what was once there. People claim that the ghosts of the citizens are still there, not ready to let go. The controversies and complicated history of the ashen ruins unfortunately makes it hard for extreme followers of Geistor because of the location being forbidden, since the second conviction is about helping ghosts move on to becoming spirits. Now I know Earth has ghosts as well, so I won't go into the detail regarding ghosts because mine are similar to yours. So let's bring this back around to the log that sparked this whole video in the first place. I believe that the log is clear sign that Dr. Varia Birch, his husband, became a ghost. If Mr. Birch's ghost stays in the form that he is, it won't do any good for his family that it seems he is staying for. Ghosts are one who refuse to move on, right? To stay in this form, they have to feed on the essence that is keeping others alive. His family will cease to live and become ghosts as well. If he doesn't feed on their essence, he ceases to exist, faded from the memories of others like he was never there to begin with. That's why the second conviction is so important. A side note here before we move on is, as I mentioned a moment ago, the followers of Geistor believe that it's best to leave the dead spirits to their own whims and do not interact with them. And even though that is the main thought for those who follow it exclusively, it isn't everyone's. Geistor isn't an exclusive religion. People who follow other beliefs like Koreshi, which is the belief that everything is a spirit and needs to be respected as such, can believe they are the dead as well. As much as I believe in other things than just ghosts, I for one know for sure that ghosts are real. When I was very young, I moved into a city as my parents gained a new job opportunity. The home we moved into was an older one on a quieter street where all of our new neighbors were elderly. It was hard to get used to the home with its creaky floorboards, leaky pipes, and cold drafts running throughout it. But it was even harder not having a way to make friends my age. It became my routine to spend most of my time alone playing pretend inside with my stuffies. One day I was playing with this old tea set in the drawing room while my parents were discussing their work in the office just a door away from me. Getting bored of my 5th cup of pretend tea with my stuffed rabbit, I decided to see what my parents were doing. When cracking open the door, I saw this large shadow looming over my father at his drawing table. My father was slumped over as if he passed out. I thought he must have fallen asleep and I should wake him. When I entered the room, I saw my mother passed on the floor. When I looked back at my father, I saw the shadows on the wall looked as if smoke was coming off of him and right into the shadows' looming jaws. Frozen, my hand went limp at my side and the teacup in my hand fell on the floor. Rolling into a room as though the shadow had eyes, it snapped around and stared right at me. I let out a shrill scream to where our neighbor ran into our home to see what was going on. I don't remember much of that night, but I was told by my parents that they were extremely sick by lead poisoning from the water and were shocked I wasn't worse as them. They decided we had to get the whole house repiped. But years later, by that same neighbor that found us that night told me a man who passed away in my home from what almost killed my parents soon before we moved in. Now, what do you all think? Do you think that it was just lead poisoning? Could it be both? Do you think ghosts are even real? Let me know in the comments below. I'll be looking, and if you want to discuss further or see the log that inspired me to share more about ghosts, come join the Discord community down below too. Have a good day.